All right, welcome back, people of the internets. This is Kent and Chris for Kent at Your Own Risk 25, Part 3, the Great Stephen King Marathon, where we will now be doing our best of lists. We're skipping out on the worst ones because we have already been talking for over 4 hours. So, in Part 1, we talked about his filmography from 1970s through the 1990. Part 2, we hit 1991 through the present day. And we are now into our best lists. So, Kent, lead it away. There's a couple things you wanted to hit up that I didn't bother touching.
All right, I'll make this quick. So, because there was a lot of situations with technology that we didn't necessarily get everything going here, I did a list of my 5 best child actors. I just wanted to acknowledge them. So, number 5, we'll go with Andrew Robb, who played the child version of Duddits in Dreamcatcher. Especially like that scene where what's his face sings to him and stuff. Like I don't know. Everything about that was just, I don't know, whatever. Liked it. Number 4, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Jete or Jeet Lawrence, who played Ellie in the new version of Pet Sematary. I thought she was a huge step up from the original Ellie, and also given more material to work with. Number 3, I had Finn Wolfhard, who played Richie in It Chapter 2. Number 2, Drew Barrymore as Charlie in Firestarter. In number 1, I had Kylie Curran, who played Abra in Doctor Sleep. I don't know, number 1 and 2 I felt were kind of interchangeable. I don't know, I think Abra just maybe had more to work with, so I thought her performance stood out more.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I did a 15 best guilty pleasures, but quite frankly, when we were discussing everything, I just kind of threw them in as we went along. I'm just looking just to see if there was anything I really missed, and I don't know if I definitely mentioned Trash Can Man. I really think I hit everybody that I was supposed. Oh, I didn't hit up Heather Graham, who played Rita Blakemore in the Stand, the new version of The Stand. As much as I didn't like that, I thought she did a really good job. And yeah, I hit 14 out of 15. That's pretty good for me.
Alrighty. I guess we'll hit the 5 best book adaptations first.
Oh, I'm excited.
All right. I guess I'll start it off. My number 5 would be Salem's Lot. My number 4 would be Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Although that's kind of cheating because it's like only 3/4 of the show were from Nightmares and Dreamscapes, but whatever. My number 3 would be 11/22/63. My number 2 would be The Shawshank Redemption. And my number 1 would be Green Mile.
Wow. So actually, we had 2 of the 3 are the same. So I had number 5, even though you just tried talking me out of it. Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
Well, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Number 4, I had It, which I never finished, but whatever. Number 3, I had Green Mile, which I once again didn't finish. Number 2, The Stand. And then number 1, I had Firestarter. And I know that you probably expected me to have Stand number 1, but if we're talking about adaptations, I thought Firestarter, the book, was closer to the film. Like, I thought the film and the book were closer than the miniseries, The Stand, and the book. So that's
No, I
why.
agree with you. All right. Moving on from best adaptations, we go into worst adaptations, where I have number 5, The Mangler. Number 4 is Graveyard Shift. Number 3 is The Lawnmower Man. Number 2 is The Running Man. And my number 1 is The Dark Tower.
All right. Now, we actually agree on one of those 5. All right. So number 5, I have the Dark Tower. Number 4, Dark Tower. Number 3, Dark Tower. Number 2, Dark Tower. And number 1, Dark Tower.
Yeah,
I didn't even want to put Tommy Knockers on there. Fuck that.
If I had a 6, Tommy Knockers would have been up there. I love the Dark Tower series, and I don't know. It's just I'm really disappointed that like that movie killed any interest in anything going further with it.
You can't do that in such a small film. That's a TV series or a film franchise that you just can't fit. You can't do it justice without more time. Plain and simple.
The whole idea, I guess, is that it's like the multiverse with Marvel or DC, and that there's like many versions of this shit going on. So the idea was that this is a different version of the same characters going through. So it's not even like following the story. It's kind of like doing its own thing. But
it wasn't like an origin story. Like it wasn't like from beginning to end.
It was like they were doing an alternate origin story instead of doing the original story.
Which is what people wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
So our next hit is 5 best acting performances in a film, omitting Stand By Me, Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, and Hearts in Atlantis.
Correct.
All right. So my number 5 was Rob Lowe as Ben Mears in the Salem's Lot remake.
Okay.
My number 4 was Sissy Spacek in Carrie. Although I would probably put her up as, I forgot what her name was, but her character from Castle Rock too. She really nailed it in that. My number 3, and the number 2 and number 3 are probably interchangeable for me, but I had Kathy Bates, both for Dolores Claiborne and Annie Wilkes. Mm-hmm. My number 2, I had John Turturro as John Shooter. And my number 1, this one's just close to my heart, I had Tim Curry as Pennywise.
Okay. Wow, you didn't have Jack anywhere. All right. So I definitely did a top 5, except I did a top 10 with an honorable mention. It's the only time I really broke my rules, so you're not surprised.
I'm used to it, but
honorable mention was Thomas Jane, just because he's done so many of them, and I kind of wanted to put Henry Thomas there too. Number 10, I had Bill Fagerbeck and Brad William Henke, who both played Tom Cullen in their respective Stand franchises. Number 9, I had Owen Teague, who played Harold Lauder in the new Stand, and he was also one of Henry Bauer's cronies in It, which I didn't even know until I was just kind of checking through things. Number 8, Comfior as Andre Linoge in Storm of the Century. Number 7, Max von Sydow as Leland Gaunt in Needful Things. Number 6, Christopher Walken as the character is Johnny Smith in Dead Zone. Number 5, and now we're going to get into a little redundant territory, John Turturro as John Shooter. Number 4, Sissy Spacek, Carrie. Number 3, Tim Curry, Pennywise. Number 2, Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance. And number 1, I had Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like any of those top 3 to 5 were all kind of practically interchangeable, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and now that I'm going through the list, like other people I would have thought of that I would have been like, oh, yeah, I could have definitely seen them on there.
Yeah.
So, all right, our next top list was Scariest Scenes. We did 5, but since Kent broke the rules, I'm going to break the rules too, and I did 6.
Nice.
All right, so I had 2 scenes from 11/22/63. So when he goes into the past to stop the janitor's father from killing his mom, before he does that, he actually meets and interacts with the dad a couple times, and the guy invites him to go out with him, and they take him to this meatpacking plant. Yeah, the amount of tension they just build up in that scene is like a really good example of like how to do tension in a scene.
Is it like comparable to like Training Day? When
Training Day. Like, have you ever had your shit pushed in?
There you go. All right.
And then there's a scene later on when he's fallen in love with this woman and they've been like living together, and then you find out later that she's hiding from her husband. Back in the 60s, before divorce was like, hey, you just need a divorce, you can get one, kind of shit.
Right. Yeah.
So the husband finds them, and like there's a point where he's like got them sat down at a table, and I think he's got a gun, and he's like, here's a glass of water and here's a glass of bleach. One of you guys are going to drink. Either both of you guys are going to drink. One of you, you guys get to choose which is, who drinks which. Yeah, that's another scene where they did a really good job with the tension.
Yeah. Okay.
My next one after that would be just the whole segment of Creepshow 2 about the raft.
Okay.
The one after that is where my insect phobia comes into play, and the roaches in Creepshow 1.
Okay. Yeah.
The one that I added in, which I had forgotten about until we were talking about it, was the assbuster scene in the toilet from Dreamcatcher.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, that's another one where they really do a good job of building up the tension, between like what's going on in the bathroom and what's going on outside in the main room in the cabin. It just like that might have been my favorite scene from that movie, even though there was a lot of good shit to work with.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Georgie's boat in It. Like,
that's what it was.
That sets the scene for, how fucking graphic this fucking remake is going to be.
Mm.
And I'm like, they did a good fucking job, because that's fucking creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
And my number 1 scene is the hobbling scene from Misery.
Okay. We have 2 that are the same. So I have 2 honorable mentions, or maybe 3, I guess, whatever. One of my honorable mentions is both the scenes with Carrie and Charlie in Firestarter, both when they like unleash their powers and go apeshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one of my honorable mention, I don't know if it's not really scary, but it's just so fucked. The car scene in The Mist.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I had to include it somewhere. All right, so number 5, the painting in It. I don't know, that scene just, yeah. Number 4, Zelda in the original Pet Sematary. She was so fucking creepy, man. Just creepy. Number 3, Georgie, as you said. I mean, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Number 2, which normally would be my number 1, but my number 1's my number 1. Number 2 was Hobbling. And the only reason number 1 is the frickin' hedge maze in The Shining, because that's like I've said, it's the thing that gave me nightmares as a kid, so it has to go on the list.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right. Our next list was our 5 favorite films from our childhood. Mm-hmm. All right, my this is like shaped by the fact that I didn't see a ton of them when I was a child, but number 5 was Children of the Corn.
Okay.
Number 4 was Tales from the Dark Side.
Ooh.
Number 3 for me was Sometimes They Come Back. Number 2 was Silver Bullet, and number 1 was Stand By Me.
Okay. Wow, we only have one that's the same. I see. I'm liking these lists. There's so much to work with.
Yeah, I like when we have differences on our list instead of just like, oh, what are the top 5 best, some.
Right. So like for me, number 5, I didn't have any honorable mentions, believe it or not. Was It. Number 4, Children of the Corn. 3, Pet Sematary. 2, The Stand. And number 1, of course, was Christine, because I just watched it too much.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, see, like, I didn't put The Stand on because I want to say I think I was like 14 or 15 when it came out, so I didn't necessarily, like...
Yeah, if I omit that, then I mean, I really should probably omit that and just put Creepshow 2 on the list. So there's my alternate universe list. Just
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right, so our next list was best antagonists. So my number 5 was Cujo.
Oh, okay.
Just, I mean, he's really nothing major to him, but like I said, like we talked about when we talked, like he individually he might be one of the most prevalent, like Stephen King influences on pop culture.
Right. Yeah.
My number 4 was Isaac.
Nice.
I mean, especially too because like I didn't realize, like the dude is pretty fucking small, isn't he?
John Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's creepy in and of itself, but then
And that voice of his, man.
yeah. Number 3 for me is Kurt Barlow, and it's probably a mix between, the original, like, Maximilian Schreck, Nosferatu-looking version, and then the fact that they got, like, Rutger Hauer to play him in the remake.
Makes sense, yeah.
My number 2 is Jack Torrance.
Okay.
And then my number 1 is kind of cheating because he's been, like, Randall Flagg, The Man in Black, Andre Lenoche, He Who Walks Behind the Rose, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See, I wasn't all right. So this was curious for me, and I was kind of curious what your list was. I deleted as much possible before reading anything. I was like, what does Chris see as an antagonist versus what do I see? So like, I didn't include Jack Torrance as an antagonist because I don't know. I view him like his characters. I don't know. Whatever. He's a horror icon.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, all right, I did a top 10 list, but honorable mention, even though I'm breaking my own rule, I just had to include Ace from Stand By Me. I had to.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You cheated.
So, yeah. Number 10, Miss Carmody from The Mist. Number 9, The Goblin Truck from Maximum Overdrive. Yeah, see, this is why I had to expand the list. Number 8, I had both Malachi and Isaac because you kind of pick your poison. They're both pretty fucking... interestingly enough, so number 7, I took Straker instead of Barlow because I found Straker to be creepier than Barlow. So, yeah. Number 6, John Rainbird, and I'm mostly for the book version, but George C. Scott did a really good job with it too. Number 5, John Shooter, I thought was great. Number 4, Pennywise. And then now my top 3 kind of looks like shit because they're all the same entity because I got Leland Gaunt, Andre Lenoge, and Randall Flagg.
I see how it is.
So, yeah. So I really only technically had a top 8.
Well, I mean, I guess that's not as much cheating.
Right. I still include Stand By Me, though. So, anyway, 5 best protagonists.
All right, so my list for this was Danny Torrance, Duddits, Alan Pangborn, and that's from, all of the different fucking versions of him that we've gotten.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ted Brodigan from Hearts and Atlantis.
Okay, yeah.
And then Paul Edgecombe from Green Mile.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So I did 2 honorable mentions, but I didn't expand my list beyond that. Honorable mention 1 was John Coffey.
Yep, he would have been an honorable mention for me if I hadn't cheated, or if I had cheated, I should say. And
I mean, I'd feel remiss if I didn't say Bill Robinson from Maximum Overdrive, Emilio Estevez. Number 5, I think was your number 5 too. I had Danny Torrance and Abra. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Amy. I'm not gonna.
Number 4, I had Johnny Smith from Dead Zone. Number 3, I think was the same as you, Sheriff Alan Pangborn. Number 2, I Duddits. And number 1, Tom Moon spells Cullen.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of similarities on that one.
Yeah, for some reason I was remembering what's his name, Tom Hanks' character, as being another version of Tom Cullen, but I guess I was wrong. So, all right. Then the last one we had was best miniseries.
Yes.
I only did 3 for this because there were a lot that I didn't like and a lot that I haven't seen. So mine was the original Stand from '94, It, and then 11/22/63.
Did you forget the Langoliers?
No, I did not. I did not really.
All right. So I did number 5, The Shining remake. Number 4, Salem's Lot, which, miniseries. The original one, because I haven't seen the remake. Number 3, It. Number 2, The Stand, 1994. And my number 1 is Storm of the Century.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I'm definitely be looking forward to seeing that one eventually somehow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look on Amazon because I don't think it's available digitally unless it's on like one of those.
I think I found like they have a copy on like YouTube. At the lower,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that basically finishes up our Stephen King stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy that we did this, even though like I'm way up past my bedtime. I don't know. I've been looking forward to this podcast for so fucking long that I'm still happy. And then I know that our next podcast will be a fraction of the length unless we go crazy with something else. But
yeah, I don't think
we'll do the Evil Within probably. I don't know if.
Hopefully we'll get to it soon. I mean, this one had a bunch of real life stuff kicking our ass in between. So, hey, what have you been? Have you watched any horror recently that came out? Like, I haven't had a chance to talk to. Like, I haven't really seen anything new. But what about you?
All right, so let me pull up.
Like, did you see Antlers? I was having high hopes for that, and then I heard a lot of kind of negative reviews after it came out.
It looked so cheesy, but yeah, I still I wanted to see it, but because that's from A24 Studios, right?
Yeah, that's another Guillermo developed one. I don't think he actually directed it.
No, I didn't, but I've had conversations about it. I just haven't gotten around. Like, there was quite a few that I like. Sometimes there's like YouTube videos showing like a bunch of trailers, and I hadn't seen any of them. I'm looking. I did see relatively recently Blumhouse's Fantasy Island.
Was that any good?
No, I wouldn't say good.
Like, I think we both watched Malignant. I don't know, did we talk about that one last?
No, we haven't talked about it yet, I don't think. And that was really good.
So what did you think?
The more, I liked it as I watched it, and then the more time, as time passed, the more I liked it. Like, I appreciated it more and more.
I have to throw out mad fucking props for the fucking stunt person for Annabelle Wallace. Because whoever did that and was doing all the backwards movements, holy shit, that looked just fucking painful to watch.
Yeah. No, that was really impressive. The only thing that was weird for me was now that I've
you said, watched those 3 movies right in a row.
Yeah, it just really kind of throws open, like, how far back does this whole ideology go? I'm sure Dark Half, there was something before that. I don't know of it yet, but I'm sure it exists, right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I can't imagine Stephen King's the first one that thought of that idea.
All right, so I really have to ask, what did you think of the Candyman remake?
Okay. At first, it's slow. It starts slow. I mean, it's slow for a reason, and at times it gets a little too, I don't know, I don't want to say racially preachy, but at times, I could see where white people especially would be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But as it progresses, it all kind of starts coming together, and I I liked it. I don't see where there was so many negative reviews that it was too racially whatever. I'm like, did you not watch the original one? Like, I don't think that this was any more racially whatever. Like, I don't think it was any more so than the original. So I don't. If you like the original, I don't see a reason why you would necessarily hate this one. You may not like it as much. Of course, I don't like it as much because I think
All right,
the original is fantastic.
so let me ask you this because I heard this in a review, but like Candyman no longer kills the people who say his name. Now you can just say his name and use it to target people that you want killed.
And I guess so. That's the lesson that we kind of learned at the very end, which left me feeling not so great. To be perfectly honest, like I also felt that they didn't use one of the actors as well as I would have preferred. Coleman Domingo. He's a great actor, but I don't know. They did some things in the final act that were okay at times. Like, I mean, you and I already knew what the reveal was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch, and it's worth developing your own opinion. Like, I know that it's just going to be. There's a lot of extreme views back and forth.
Yeah, what really shocked me when the reviews were coming out is like a lot of the reviewers that I follow on YouTube will go out of their way to avoid alienating anybody because they want the views.
Yeah.
So like there have definitely been movies where like a message was the point of the movie and they've ignored it. But when like I hear people who go out of their way to be political and of saying like they're trying to not alienate any viewers, or like, yeah, this movie was definitely not marketed for me, and I'm a cis white male. That kind of made me wonder. I'm like, if it's this bad that like somebody like you is saying something about this, what's the actuality?
Right.
So, all right. Sorry about that.
All good.
Okay. So cool. And good to hear that it wasn't, like Candyman is one of my favorite movies from the 90s. So hearing that it's like I had a lot of doubt when I heard reviews start coming out.
Yeah, I did too, but honestly, I don't know. Everybody needs to make their own opinion on it, but I just think society's kind of warped our views so far to extremes that this really wasn't that bad. Like, and in sharp contrast, I'll toss out two other movies that I saw recently. One was the Final Purge.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's a movie about like white people against immigration, and like that's the whole premise. Like that's all 90 minutes. I saved you 90 minutes. It's angry white people purging against Mexicans. Like, okay. So don't recommend that at all under any circumstances. And I think this was a movie that I think we said that we'd talk about, which was Black Christmas, the newest one.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
Yeah. And every single fear that we had is true. I'm going to watch what I say very carefully here, but I will say there is one good scene where the sorority, like they're doing like this big Christmas thing before Christmas break. So at this like frat party, the sorority sisters go up and sing about one of them getting like drugged and raped up on the frat house. And so they do like up on the frat house, like they do that song, and they do it kind of cutesy, but the message is really good. Like it's a really well done scene, and that's probably about where the good positive things go, because this was like, let's just kind of hate men type movie.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, this is your movie. If you're a man, I'm not going to recommend this at all. Like, even if you're the most open-minded man, I don't really know if this is your type. Like, honestly, like, that's just my opinion. You may
Gotcha.
like, I don't.
Yeah.
I also saw The Hunt. Did you see that?
I did not yet. No.
Okay, so another movie that I was scared to watch because I don't discuss politics. I hate that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that they handled the politics in this was funny because they insulted both sides of it.
Yeah, I heard good things about that.
And like the acting was really good, and I like I hate Hilary Swank, but she was good because she wasn't in it too much until the end. And the main girl, Andrea Gilpin, I think her name. She was like the second
Gilpin.
lead in Glow.
Yeah.
She's a very talented actress, and like people like Ethan Suplee are in it. There's a few other people, and it's enjoyable. Like, it was probably the most surprisingly enjoyable movie I saw, based on expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that isn't new at all, but I'd never seen, was Serial Mom. I laughed my ass off.
I remember that really bothering me when I saw it, right after it came out, and it was one of those things where like, yeah, like I was younger, you know, like I wanted to say maybe like 14 or 15 when it came out.
It was 94, yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly, I would have been 14 or 15. And just like the fact that she was able to get away with it all bothered me. It really bothered me. It wasn't quite up there with like Seven, but yeah, like for whatever reason at that particular moment in life, like seeing her fucking do all of that. Yeah, you wore white shoes after Labor Day.
You're right. Like,
yeah.
It's not a movie remotely to think about in any serious light, but I've done the same thing as you say, where like you just can't get past like something logically. So I don't know. I thought it was really charming and funny at this point in my life.
You know, I like I think the satire probably went straight over my head too. You know, at that age.
At that age, I wouldn't have gotten half the stuff, I don't think. So, another thing that I learned, and I'm not sure if this is the news to you, did you know that supposedly The Village is all about the Iraq War?
No, I did
No?
did not know. No.
Yeah? No? Okay. You didn't pick that up at all, like with, all the bullshit going on? No? Okay.
In The Village?
Yeah.
Do you mean the
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan one?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. That context never hit me at all.
No, I don't know where people are coming up with this shit, but I'm not shitting you. Look it up sometime and read about it. Maybe it will make some sense to you based on, your actual history. For me, at no point was I like, oh, this is definitely about the Iraq War. No.
I think I was in Iraq when The Village came out, so I don't see it, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
So did you get a chance to see Halloween Kills?
No, I'm pissed. I have not yet. Have you?
I have not, but like hearing where people are coming from on it, I don't know. I mean, maybe like the biggest thing I'm hearing is like a lot of people are like, this is just a part 2 that is straightly just a part 2 and probably will make better sense in a part 3, when the whole thing is finished.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to see the new Paranormal Activity, although I do have Paramount to stream it. So
Yep.
I haven't had a chance to see Last Night in Soho, but I'm hearing a lot of good things about that.
I don't even know anything about that.
That's the new Edgar Wright one, where like the chick is like when she dreams, she goes back and sees like the shit going on in the 1960s in London. With
yes,
yeah. I haven't seen Black Friday yet, but I heard it was actually really good. That's the one about with like Bruce Campbell and Devon Sawa and Michael Jai White, where they're like department store workers on Black Friday, and like the shoppers get turned into zombies.
That has to be entertaining. I feel with that cast, it has to be entertaining.
Have you seen anything or heard anything about like the Resident Evil remake?
No, like I keep waiting for it, but no, I haven't heard
I
much.
think it's got to be coming out soon.
Yeah, um, yeah, I don't. I mean, it's good. They're starting fresh, right? As far as we know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And have you heard anything about the Cube remake?
The one in the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if I'd sent that to you or Eric. I think I sent it to Eric and got no response, which irritated me. I thought he'd be all over it because I watched Cube for the first time. Like him and I watched it together. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but I'm excited just to see if it's going to be, how close to the original it'll be, or if they're going to take it into a different direction. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess the only other movie then that and we briefly mentioned it, but looks really good is the Black Phone.
Yes,
But I don't think that actually releases until next year. But I guess they showed it at cons and
right.
Telluride, the film festivals.
I think it comes out in February to like normal audiences.
Yeah, like normal people like us.
I didn't realize James Ransone was in it.
I'm not surprised. I wonder if he's playing the same fucking cop.
Oh my god,
Detective.
kind of funny.
Detective fucking... I forgot what he was called him. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one thing I did watch that I never watched before, the whole Critters franchise.
Oh, no shit. I remember watching the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, they progressively... it's weird, but... Did you know that there was a 2019 one called Critters Attack?
I kind of remember it, but I didn't, I'm hesitant to watch anything, that's not, a remake 20 years after, kind of...
Here's the funny thing. They didn't, have the rights, I guess, to some of the character names, so they brought Dee Wallace back, but they didn't refer to her by her character's name from the original. They just referred to her as grandma or something like that, or Aunt Dee was her name. I was like, okay, so it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, and the production was also kind of tongue-in-cheek. I can't recommend it really, but it exists. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's it. We'll want to just hype up the next podcast quickly and wrap it up.
Yeah, so the next one we're going to be doing is going to be something a little different for us. We're going to be talking about the Evil Within video game. So bear with us, because it's going to be a format that we really haven't done before. And who the hell knows when we're going to get to it, because this one kind of threw us for a loop. But I guess it makes sense considering that we've talked for almost 7 hours.
Yeah, and then...
Or excuse me, 5 hours. But yeah, I mean, that's still a long time to talk about Stephen King. And then there's been various problems going back and forth. So yeah, I'm interested in doing that because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that. And I really want to toss some ideas around with you. But the one I'm kind of more excited for is going to be our December one, when we do a complete 180 from horror movies and talk about our favorite Christmas movies.
Hello, Jack Frost. He's chilling and killing.
Or for his favorite horror movies.
But no, I'll keep it not even horror adjacent. I'll be good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we can get that done either right before or right after my birthday, so we can get it up the week before before Christmas.
I was gonna say the week before Thanksgiving, it's this week.
Yeah, be done fucked up on that, but we'll be good on that, and then after that, I'm sure Chris and I are going to sit down and try to map out 4 to 6 months in advance.
Yeah, this is coming up the culmination of plans we made back in July that have kind of mostly gone according to plan.
If I can coerce Chris, I would like to maybe aim for a Nightmare on Elm Street discussion in the first half of 2022.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. Definitely doable.
I think that'd be fun.
All right, guys. My son is up, so I've got to go play dad. Thank you for joining us for this 5-hour marathon, if you listen to it all at once. If not, well, why didn't you?
Yeah, you don't have 5 hours to spare for us? What the fuck?
Stephen King, if you're listening to this, please go ahead and retweet Kent at whatever his Twitter is. I don't fucking use Twitter, so I don't know what mine
At
is.
official 9 Deuce.
Yeah, official 9 Deuce. There you go. And the website, Kent, is 9deuce.com.
That's
/
correct.
is it / podcast?
No, for this. Wait, I say no, but do I mean yes? Give me a second here.
Well,
I'm
if you just
clicking
go to
on-
9deuce.com, you'll find the podcast and the blogs, and they're all there on one side
Yeah,
or the
you
other.
could do like /Kentertained, or if you just do 9deuce.com, click the blue icon on the right.
Take the blue pill.
That's right. So, thank
right,
you very
guys.
much for
Thank-
sticking
yeah.
with me for this.
Yeah, no problem. Again, this is one that Kent and I have been looking forward to do for a really long time. So thank you. I think we started talking about doing a Stephen King back in 2018 or 2019 when we started doing
Yeah,
best of lists.
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Well, 2021 we got to you, Stephen. So
That's right.
if you don't want to block, hit back at us. Joe Hill, you're welcome to too. I'm kind of upset with what they did with Lock and Key, but hey, whatever. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Kent, I had fun.
Yes, me too, man. Thank you.
Good night, Interneters.
See ya.